Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wednesday edition, September 30th edition here of Trending Politics Live. What a day we have here in store for you guys. I don't even know how we're going to have time to get to it all. I am going to go as long as it takes me to cover every single thing that we have to talk about today because, oh my God, as if it wasn't bad enough that we had a debate last night, but in the middle of the day yesterday, we learned that Hillary Clinton was behind the entire Russia hoax and learned that it was approved by Obama. On top of that, we had a raucous debate, and now today, James Comey is being grilled, and it looks like he lied under oath today, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to get into all of it. So take a seat, grab your water, grab your popcorn, grab your lunch, whatever time it may be, wherever you are, and let's dig right into it. First and foremost, I do want to let you guys know that we are partnered with a very, very good website called ProTrumpNews.com. They are basically the new Drudge Report, ProTrumpNews.com. Basically everything that you used to love about the Drudge Report, that is what ProTrumpNews.com is. We are partnered with them. You will find our articles on there, and they just do a really good job of updating that site all the time. I posted the links right there in the comments. Make sure to give them a shout out. Make sure to go give them a look and bookmark them in your browser because they do a lot of really good work. Again, they're what Drudge used to be. Drudge has sold out to the deep state. Drudge has sold out to the machine, the man, whatever you want to call it. These guys here give you the truth about President Trump. So I'll put that in the comments one more time. ProTrumpNews.com. Go give them a shout out, ladies and gentlemen. Also, make sure to go to TrendingPolitics.com. You guys, we are getting articles up looks like 2 or 3 an hour. We have got so much to talk about. And so I'm so excited here to be chatting with you right now. So let's get into last night's debate. And oh my goodness gracious, we have a lot to get into. Biden lied like crazy. And of course, the fact checkers didn't give a damn about it. So let me give you a couple of the strongest moments from last night's debate. We're going to go into it and let's get started. First and foremost, here's one of President Trump's stronger moments, pinning Joe Biden down on the whole topic of law and order, because we all know that it took Biden all of June, all of July, and all of August. He even had a full week at the DNC to denounce violent riots very strongly, and he didn't do it until the week of the RNC when he started to see his poll numbers tanking. Trump cornered him and said, name one law enforcement agency that backs you, and he had no answer.
He doesn't have any law support. Look, he has no law enforcement
that's not
support.
True.
Almost
that's
nothing.
Look.
Oh, really? Who do you have? Name one group that supports you. Name one group that came out and supported you. Go ahead. Think. We have time.
We don't have time to do anything.
Think
all right.
Name one law enforcement group that came out and supported you.
Gentlemen, I think I'm going to take back the moderator's role.
I don't think there are any.
And I want.
So Trump absolutely hammered him there. And by the way, thank you all to the 5,500 people who joined us and stuck with us the entire night last night, watching the debate and reacting afterwards. That was a lot of fun. So Trump hammered him. He says, name one law enforcement agency that supports you. Name one law enforcement agency that backs you. And Joe Biden couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Why? Because nobody backs him. All of the sheriff's departments, all the police departments, they're all backing President Trump. Just this morning, he got endorsements from the firefighters. I mean, he's getting endorsements from everyone. Law enforcement in general loves President Trump, and he hammered Biden. And they know that Biden does not support the men and women in blue. Joe Biden, another terrible moment here for Joe Biden is that he refused to answer whether or not he would stack the Supreme Court. Now, Democrat senators have already come out and said, yes, we want to stack the Supreme Court if we win the presidency and the Senate. Yes, but we're not going to talk about that until after the election. Now, it's quite funny that if President Trump said, hey, you know what, if we win the election, we want to stack the Supreme Court, they would go freaking nuts, but that's another story for another time. Joe Biden here has a very hard time saying that he wouldn't stack the court. Why? Because he absolutely would stack the court for decades to come.
If Senate Republicans, we were talking originally about the Supreme Court here, if Senate Republicans go ahead and confirm Justice Barrett, there has been talk about ending the filibuster, or even packing the court, adding to the 9 justices there. You call this a distraction by the president, but in fact it wasn't brought up by the president. It was brought up by some of your Democratic colleagues in the Congress. So my question to you is, you have refused in the past to talk about it. Are you willing to tell the American people tonight whether or not you will support either ending the filibuster or packing the court?
Whatever position I take on that, that'll become the issue. The issue is the American people should speak.
Dodge.
You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
Are you going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't want
you're
to answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why
because
wouldn't you answer that
because
question?
So, see, Joe Biden deliberately did not want to answer whether or not he would pack the Supreme Court and end the filibuster. And we all know why. It's because he would. He absolutely would pack the Supreme Court. Because when Democrats don't win, they just want to change the rules for everyone else. And it's absolutely disgraceful. Now, that brings me to the topic of Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace, no doubt, was extremely biased towards against President Trump. He and Biden even chummed it up a little bit. Basically Joe Biden said, I can't follow anything this guy is saying. And then Chris Wallace is like, yeah, I agree with you. A lot of people are saying that Chris Wallace needs to be fired. We actually just released a brand new poll. Should Chris Wallace be fired from Fox News? And I just put it in the comments there on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube. So no matter where you're watching it, you can see the poll pop up right there. Make sure to vote in this brand new poll. We've had thousands, tens of thousands of people vote in it. So let us know if you think that Chris Wallace should be fired. Yes or no. I want to see it. I put the poll in the comments there. So let me know what you think about that, because at the end of the day, we all know it appeared that it was Chris Wallace and Joe Biden versus President Trump. Chris Wallace did not ask Joe Biden to condemn Antifa. And he also indirectly called Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist because he said that white supremacists were the ones causing violence in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Really? Really? Is that what it is?
If we would have listened
Sorry, guys. These videos are playing without me wanting to. He said that white supremacists were causing the violence in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Well, we know that the only violence that came from it is the violence that happened between the protesters and Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse is not a white supremacist. He is not a freaking white supremacist. So by Chris Wallace saying that the only violence in Kenosha was by white supremacists, that means he's calling Kyle Rittenhouse a white supremacist. So this is slander, and I already know that he has got that Rittenhouse already, and there's stories coming out about this, that Rittenhouse absolutely is starting to get his defamation lawsuits ready, and it is well deserved. Now, the next part of the debate that I want to cover with each and every one of you is a very, very important one. And we're going to make this into a video clip because it's a question that I get all the time. People asking me on social media, Clay, how on earth do I tell my family that the coronavirus was not President Trump's fault? They always come to me and say it was President Trump's fault. President Trump did nothing about the coronavirus. President Trump didn't do anything about the coronavirus until the stock market fell. He let the virus in, yada, yada, yada. Well, I want this video to be a very simple roadmap so that you can show your friends and family, or you can just have more conviction for yourself that not only is President Trump not responsible for the coronavirus, but he did everything he could have. And also, he did exactly what the experts were telling him to in the early days. And furthermore, I'll explain why if Joe Biden was the president, it actually would have been even worse. So the first video I want to play here is the video of Joe Biden coming out and saying that he basically is denying that he called the shutdown xenophobic. Trump hammered him on it because we all know that right after President Trump shut down travel from China, Joe Biden was saying this is no place and time for racism and xenophobia. Here's what Biden had to say.
To you, the country would have been left wide open. Millions of people would have died, not 200,000, and one person is too much. It's China's fault. It should have never happened. They stopped it from going in, but it was China's fault. And by the way, when you talk about numbers, you don't know how many people died in China. You don't know how many people died in Russia. You don't know how many people died in India. They don't exactly give you a straight count, just so you understand. But if you look at what we've done, I closed it, and you said he's xenophobic. He's a racist, and he's xenophobic because you didn't think I should have closed our country.
Wait a minute. It says 2 minutes.
You didn't think we should have closed our country because you thought it was terrible. You wouldn't have closed it for another 2 months. By my doing it early, in fact, Dr. Fauci said, President Trump saved thousands of lives. Many of your Democrat governors said, President Trump did a phenomenal job. We worked with the governor. Oh, really? Go take a look. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. Most of them said that. In fact, people that would not be necessarily on my side said that. President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We got the gowns. We got the masks. We made the ventilators. You wouldn't have made ventilators. And now we're weeks away from a vaccine. We're doing therapeutics already. Fewer people are dying when they get sick. Far fewer people are.
So Trump absolutely hammered him on that, and I'm so glad he did. Now, that is a key factor to talk about, that Joe Biden would have not shut down the country. Now, here's the next part that you have to be very, very aware of, this video that I'm about to show you, because this is an argument that the left, and that I'm sure some of your family and friends is making, is that they say, well, President Trump shut down this economy. So any jobs that were lost were President Trump's fault. That is the narrative that they're trying to push. So I want you to watch what Joe Biden said last night about the economic shutdown.
I know how to do the job. I know how to get the job
Well, you
done.
didn't do very well in swine flu. H1N1, you were a disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster.
14,000 people died, not 200,000. There was no economic recession.
Sir, you made a
there was no recession.
You made a point. Let him answer.
And there was we didn't shut down the economy.
Listen.
This is his economy he shut down. The reason it's shut down is because, look, you folks at home, how many of you got up this morning?
So that right there is the only thing that matters, is that he is now blaming President Trump for the shutdown, saying that all of these jobs that were lost is because President Trump shut the economy down, acting like it was President Trump's bright idea to do so. But let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Dr. Fauci himself said this on February 29th, that there is nothing that you need to do in order to change your behavior. We didn't shut down the country until mid to late March, okay? But Dr. Fauci is sitting here in February 29th saying that there's nothing that anyone needs to do to change their behavior. Here it is from Dr. Fauci himself on February 29th, throwing Trump under the bus. Watch this.
We're getting many, many more tests out there so that the health departments and even individual hospitals can be able to test much more easily, with the results getting back much more quickly.
So, Dr. Fauci, it's Saturday morning in America. People are waking up right now with real concerns about this. They want to go to malls and movies, maybe the gym as well. Should we be changing our habits, and if so, how?
No, right now, at this moment, there is no need to change anything that you're doing on a day-by-day basis. Right now, the risk is still low, but this could change. I've said.
Now, to be fair, he said this could change, but it doesn't matter. On February 29th, Dr. Fauci said that the risk is low for the American people. So did they want President Trump to shut down the country when the leading health expert was saying, no, you guys need to shut down, you don't need to shut down the country. Nobody needs to change anything that they're doing. In fact, last night, President Trump talked about Dr. Fauci's flip-flop on the mask situation. And here is Dr. Fauci from March saying these comments about wearing a mask, and the media is denying that this ever happened.
Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet. But it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course. But when you...
All right. So that right there basically settles the debate there. Dr. Fauci said himself that President Trump, that first of all, that masks maybe will stop a couple droplets. And his direct quote is, when you're in the middle of an outbreak, masks can maybe protect a couple droplets and maybe make people feel better. But at the end of the day, there can be a lot of challenges with them. Furthermore, I'm trying to bring it up here, but I wasn't able to. I'm trying to find the exact transcript because I forgot that I was going to bring up this specific topic here. But here we go. I found it. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. So here's the next part that I want to point you to about Dr. Fauci. So again, you guys, you have Joe Biden himself saying this, that people died because President Trump didn't listen to the experts, and Trump shut down the economy on his own volition. But here's what Dr. Fauci said on April 13th. The first and only time that Dr. Birx and I went in and formally made a recommendation to the president to actually have a shutdown in the sense of strong mitigation. We discussed it. Obviously, there would be concerns by some, and in fact, that might have some negative consequences. Nonetheless, the president listened to the recommendation and went to the mitigation. The second time that I went in with Dr. Birx into the president and said 15 days are not enough, we need to go to 30 days. Obviously, there would be people who had a problem with that because of the potential secondary side effects. Nonetheless, at that time, the president went with the health recommendations and we extended it another 30 days. So you have Joe Biden himself coming out and saying that, oh no, President Trump, this is on him for shutting down the economy. But then they also say that Trump didn't listen to the experts. Furthermore, Joe Biden in August said, oh, if the experts tell me to shut down the country, I'm going to shut down the country. But somehow it's President Trump's fault when all he did was listen to what the experts told him to do when it came to shutting down the economy. First, it was for 15 days. Then it was for 30 days. Now, God knows how long it is in some of these blue states. So look at what it has turned into. So at the end of the day, President Trump, Dr. Fauci in late February and early March was saying that the risk is low to the American people. He was saying the risk is low and there's nothing that you need to do to change in your day-to-day lives. And on April 13th, Dr. Fauci affirmed and said, look, President Trump took the recommendations that we gave him on the 15 days and the 30 days. So Joe Biden is saying that he would have listened to Dr. Fauci. Well, along that reasoning, then, you would have shut down the country as well. Why? Because it was Dr. Fauci's bright idea to shut down the country, and President Trump listened to the doctors. But somehow, if you listen to a doctor's opinion on it, that is somehow your problem. So if I go to the doctor and the doctor prescribes me a wrong solution to my medical problem, somehow that's on my fault, not the medical experts. So that's what I have to say there. Now, post-debate, a lot of people are saying, oh, President Trump screwed the pooch, he really sucked. But you know what? I will say this. President Trump absolutely, he did good. He could have done better. There were times when President Trump should have just let Joe Biden keep talking because Joe Biden was on the 1-yard line ready to fumble the football and President Trump kept stopping him. So next debate, President Trump just needs to let Biden collapse, needs to just let him talk. So this is what the Washington Post said about some of what President Trump's strongest moments of the debate were last night.
Chris Wallace threw a lifeline to the vice president when he could not come up with a law enforcement agency. That should have been allowed to go its course. The president asked a question. The vice president has no answer because he has no support in law enforcement. Yep. It would have been telling Chris Wallace, cut it off.
All right, so that was Hugh Hewitt, and here's what Ruth Marcus says.
I did think that some of the strongest moments for the president was when he put some difficult questions or the moderator who he thought did too much put some difficult questions to Vice President Biden that he didn't answer. So the president's strongest moments were pressing the vice president on law and order, saying what law enforcement groups backed you, pressing him on being clear about whether he would pack the court, pressing him on what his position is exactly on the Green New Deal. That
was another thing, is that Joe Biden dodged so many questions. First of all, he dodged the Supreme Court question, the filibuster question. He's claimed, excuse me, he claimed that he does not support the Green New Deal, but that is a flat out lie. Oops, wrong screenshot here. Biden last night said, I don't support the Green New Deal, but on Biden's website, look what it says. Biden believes the Green New Deal is a crucial framework for meeting the climate challenges we face. Can anyone ask me if the fact checkers are going to fact check this? Hey, Facebook fact checkers, I know you're watching. By the way, your turn is coming up later, Facebook fact checkers. Don't think that I've forgotten about you guys. Just to let everyone know, we just got hit with a fact check that is one of the most despicable and egregious proof of biases that we've ever seen. So Facebook fact checkers and all the 3,500 people that are watching right now, stay tuned because I'm about to go ham on these fact checkers for what they did to us this morning. But anyways, for any of you fact checkers watching out there, since I know you're watching, you're asking us for interviews constantly, so I know you're watching, you guys. Are you going to fact check Joe Biden on this? Joe Biden says he doesn't support the Green New Deal, but on his website, he says he does. So I don't know, you guys. I mean, normally if President Trump says something that is lacking context, you guys are right there like white on rice trying to correct it. But Joe Biden says something that's completely not true, and you guys just kind of let it go into the night, right? Okay. That's a topic for a little bit later today. Oh, man, you guys, it's about to get real in here in a minute. But also, here's what a C-SPAN caller said last night about Joe Biden's performance. He said, basically, Joe Biden's been here for 47 years and has done nothing. So at the end of the day, I still think that President Trump has the support of the American people.
He has been in politics for 47 years. Where has he been? All these policies he wants to push forward. He was a U.S. Senator voted in 1972. He was vice president for 8 years, and now he wants to do all these things. I was proud of President Trump.
That was very, very good. So any people you hear about, anything you hear about President Trump, doing poorly or whatever, at the end of the day, we all know who we elected. We elected a loud, crass businessman as our president, and that's what we got last night, and I actually enjoyed it. Now, finally on this topic, believe it or not, CNN actually pushed a Biden staffer on why he dodged so many damn questions. Like I said, he dodged the Supreme Court question, the Green New Deal question. He dodged so many different things. So let's take a look at CNN. Hell just froze over because look at what they asked.
Questions, but don't the American people deserve some answers on these questions? Is the former vice president possibly the next president of the United States? Is he going to push to end the filibuster? Will he fight the Democrats to try to do that? Will he try to expand the Supreme Court from 9 to 11 or 13 justices? Is that not a fair question?
Well, first of all, look, the vice president is very capable and he's going to be a great president. But whether we introduce legislation to stack the court, that's in my purview in terms of being a United States congressman. So that's going to come from our members in the House and hopefully a Democratic Senate. And I think that he will give advice and guidance and ultimately have a decision to make, and he will weigh in. But right now, that is a decision left to the Congress, and it would be a distraction from the issue at hand.
They're going to stack the court. They're going to stack the court if they win, guys. Don't you dare doubt it for a second. Don't you doubt it for a second. They are absolutely going to stack the court. 100%, you guys. They are going to stack the court if they win back the Senate and if they gain their advantage in the House. Just wait for it, you guys. Just wait for it. The fact that they are denying it or the fact that they are dodging the question tells us everything we need to know. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with the debate is the debate commission came out this morning with a statement, and it makes me think that they are going to literally cut off Trump's mic in the next debate, and I'm not kidding you. This is what they released this morning, guys. The Commission on Presidential Debate sponsors televised debates for the benefit of the American electorate. Last night's debate made it clear that additional structure should be added to the format of the remaining debates to ensure a more orderly discussion of the issues. The CPD will be carefully considering the changes that it will adopt and will announce those measures shortly. The commission is grateful to Chris Wallace for the professionalism and skill he brought to last night's debate and intends to ensure that additional tools to maintain order are in place for the remaining debates. You know what that tells me, guys? They're going to cut President Trump's mic in the next debate. They're going to do it. Mark my words right now. This right here is a preview. They're going to cut President Trump's mic in the next debate. Watch out for it, you guys, because things are about to get absolutely freaking crazy. Now, we already have gone 30 minutes, but we're not even halfway done through the show, you guys. As if we didn't have a debate to talk about. I'm going to get to the fact checkers here in a minute, but first we got to cover what's going on right now because it appears that James Comey has lied under oath. Now, to give you guys a little bit of a background again, remember, last week it came out, I believe it was on Friday, it came out that the FBI knew in advance that the subsource for the Steele dossier was investigated by being a foreign agent, a Russian spy. Yet the FBI, James Comey, left that out of their FISA warrant applications. And when that FISA warrant was granted, they were able to spy on Carter Page, who is an associate of President Trump's campaign. Now, again, if the shoe was on the other foot, the Democrats would be all up in arms about this, but because it was done against President Trump, they really don't give a damn. So right now, as we speak, James Comey is being grilled by senators right now. And I'm going to just play a few clips for you guys because Comey is getting absolutely destroyed. Here's Ted Cruz giving him the business.
I first learned of the Steele dossier in late September of 2016 and understood that it was funded by political opposition to President Trump, or candidate Trump. I didn't know the specifics of which part of the opposition, but I knew that it was political opposition research funded.
When? When did you learn that?
I think about the time I was briefed on it, so about the same time, probably third week of September.
So you were personally aware that the political opposition, whether the DNC or Hillary Clinton or whatever campaign bucket it was coming from, it was the opposing party that was funding it. You were specifically aware of it in September. Why didn't you tell the FISA court? Why did you admit that over and over and over again on applications you submitted? Didn't the court deserve to know that?
My recollection is the FISA court was alerted to the possibility that it was a politically biased reporting.
Your recollection is false. The FISA court was not told that it was funded by the DNC. That's one of the omissions that your FBI did repeatedly to the federal court. All right. Go ahead.
That's not what I just said. So,
what did you just say?
I said my recollection is the court was alerted that there was potential political bias in this reporting.
Political bias is different from saying it was funded by the Hillary Clinton campaign. You just testified to this committee. You were specifically aware of that, and yet you repeatedly did not inform the court of it when you were getting an order to essentially weaponize the Democratic opposition research.
Thank God Ted Cruz called him out. Do you see how weaselly James Comey is? How he tried to weasel his way around that question? My recollection was that the FISA court was aware of it. That was my recollection. I don't know. How do we know what he remembered and didn't remember? That's his way of getting the hell out of this situation. So furthermore, then we have, let's see here. We have Mike Lee going off on him saying, you really don't know a damn thing.
Mr. Comey, with all due respect, you don't seem to know anything about an investigation that you ran. So how can you now, as a private citizen and former FBI director, show up and then speculate freely regarding any alleged ties between President Putin and President Trump? I heard you say just a moment ago, now I hope I misunderstood you. Please correct me if I did. I think I heard you say that you still speculate they might have something on President Trump because of how President Trump refers or doesn't refer to President Putin in public. This, of course, takes into account nothing about the fact that sources you've relied on in the past have turned out not to be accurate. You didn't identify the inaccuracies subsequently to the FISA court. It acknowledges nothing about the fact that there are perfectly reasonable explanations as to why one leader would refer to a foreign leader in a certain tone, or the fact that this is the same tone that he uses in referring to other world leaders, particularly those world leaders in parts of the country where we've had some issues. So honestly, how can you as a private citizen now come to us and in your capacity as former FBI director and speculate so freely regarding these alleged ties when you don't seem to know anything about this investigation that you ran?
Absolutely hammered him. The bottom line is that James Comey lied to the FISA court. He didn't disclose that this was funded by foreign agents, even though that was the kicker. That's what happened. And real quick, I want to play for you Chuck Grassley asking him, saying, you said that the dossier was reliable, even though you had warning after warning after warning after warning that it wasn't, and he still used the damn document to obtain a spy warrant.
On January 12, 2017, email to James Clapper, you stated that, quote, we have concluded that the source, Crown, is reliable. On January the 12th, 2017, the FBI received a report outlining inaccuracies related to Steele's reporting about Michael Cohen. The report also assessed that the information was part of a Russian disinformation campaign. That same day, you signed a FISA renewal. The FBI received another report on February 27th, 2017, that also stated parts of the dossier were false and subject to Russian disinformation. Yep. You signed another FISA renewal on April 5th, 2017. Steele is clearly not a reliable source. Yep. Why did you say otherwise, and why did you approve the FISA application in light of the evidence?
What I said about Mr. Steele that you read at the beginning of your preamble was what I believed based on what I had been told. And the rest of the reports you've listed, I don't remember learning about them or being told about them. So I can't comment on whether they're accurate or not.
I don't remember. Everyone in the comment is saying selective memory. It's really interesting how James Comey's memory works, because when he wants to remember something about President Trump, I mean, his memory is just rock solid. But every other time he answers a question, it's, my recollection is, I don't know. My memory, I don't know what to say. It escaped me. What else can I say? Next question, please. So now we're going to take a little bit of a pivot here. So what I want to show you is Catherine Herridge tweeted this out here. She said, right now, under oath, James Comey said this to the Senate Judiciary Committee. I don't remember any information reaching me about the source for the Steele dossier. And here's what Catherine Herridge adds. Here's why it matters. Newly declassified records show FBI Russia team knew as early as December 2016 that the primary source for the Steele dossier was the subject of a 2009 investigation as a suspected Russian agent. The FBI also interviewed the dossier source over 3 days in January of 2017, where he dismissed the Steele reporting as rumor. So the Steele dossier was debunked by its own source in January of 2017, yet they still used the dossier to get the spy warrant. And they knew in December of 2016 that the guy was a suspected Russian agent, but the FBI and James Comey left that information out when they went to the FISA court. So the FISA court slapped them and gave them the FISA warrant so they could spy on Carter Page. You guys, this is another reason we need to vote for President Trump in November. Okay, we're just over 1 month away. If all of this happens, these guys are going to go unchecked, but we're slowly uncovering it, and Joe Biden and James Comey will have his day in court. Now, we're not done with James Comey here, but I need to pivot before I show you Lindsey Graham's questioning. And like I said, guys, I know this is going to be a long stream. I don't know what else to tell you. We have a lot to talk about here, okay? Yesterday, some huge news broke that's going to lead us to talking about Lindsey Graham's questioning of James Comey today. So, yesterday, Lindsey Graham was sent a letter by the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, and it proves that Obama was briefed on Hillary's plan to stir up the Trump-Russia hoax during the 2016 election. Okay, I wrote this article yesterday. You could check it up on trendingpolitics.com. These notes reveal that not only was Hillary Clinton and her campaign the architect of the Russia collusion hoax, but that former President Obama was briefed on it and still let it happen. Their exact words was that Hillary Clinton was trying to stir up a scandal about President Trump, so they needed something to push. According to these handwritten notes, Brennan himself briefed Obama on Hillary's approval of the proposal to attack Trump in the 2016 election by tying him to Vladimir Putin. Here's what Ratcliffe's letter said to Senator Lindsey Graham. In late July of 2016, U.S. intelligence agencies obtained insight into Russian intelligence analysis, saying that U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, Crooked Hillary, had approved of a campaign plan to stir up a scandal against President Trump by tying him to Putin and the Russians' hacking of the Democrat National Committee. According to his handwritten notes, former CIA Director John Brennan subsequently briefed President Obama and the other senior national security officials on the intelligence, including that the alleged approval by Hillary Clinton in July of 2016 to vilify Trump by stirring up a scandal. So, here's some of the reaction that we saw yesterday from top conservatives. They said, here we go. Hillary Clinton was behind the entire Russia collusion hoax all along. The FBI knew this and happily partnered with her to take down real Donald Trump. Guys, I want to look at the comments right now, and I want to see there's 2,900 people on here. I want to see 2,900 drain the swamps. I'm going to put the first comment in there, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see 2,900 people commenting, drain the swamp. Because this article, this revelation by the Director of National Intelligence proves that the FBI, the Democrats, and the Democrat National Committee were all in it, and they're all a part of the same swamp. Comey knew, Obama knew, Biden knew, the FBI knew, the CIA knew. And when they say that we think it's a conspiracy, that the deep state is running things, it's no conspiracy. I'm seeing hundreds of comments, drain the swamp. We need to drain the swamp, which is exactly why we need to reelect President Trump in November, because if not, then we have absolutely no chance in hell to ever drain the swamp, because they will bring in more swamp monsters and bring more corruption to Washington, D.C. than we ever could have imagined. Now, that leads us to the questioning of James Comey by Senator Lindsey Graham, and I'm going to play a couple clips from you here.
Okay, when did you first learn of the existence of the Steele dossier?
Sometime towards the end of September of 2016.
Okay, listen to this.
Do you agree with Mr. Horowitz that the dossier was central and essential to the Carter Page FISA warrant application being approved?
I agree that it was important. I can't tell you whether it was essential, and by that I mean that it wouldn't have been granted without the Steele information.
Let's go through the application. There are two parts to the application. Was there an effort to get a warrant approved without using the dossier?
Yes, my understanding is in the summer they asked DOJ whether they would support moving forward on a warrant application.
And they said no, right?
Wow.
Correct. That's my understanding from the Horowitz report.
Then you add the dossier, all of a sudden they say yes to the warrant application. Is that a fair statement?
I think it's fair to say that DOJ decided to move forward after the Steele information was part of it.
Yes, so I would say that it was essential based on that. Now, here.
Okay, you guys, so this is just probably the biggest part of the whole story. They tried to get a FISA application in the summer of 2016. They couldn't do it. Why? Because they didn't have the Steele dossier. Then what happens is Crooked Hillary pays for the information for the Steele dossier from a suspected Russian agent, and they get that information, not telling the FISA court that it was from a Russian agent, and magically, ta-da, voila, they get approval for the freaking FISA warrant. So you have James Comey here saying, it was important, but I don't know if it was essential. Let's look at the facts. FISA application without the Steele dossier, denied. FISA application with the Steele dossier, approved. And that's how they freaking got the approval. I mean, you guys, I'm going crazy here. I can't understand. I'm going to write up an article on this on trendingpolitics.com later. Guys, make sure you're always going to Trending Politics and refreshing the website all day, every day. We're trying to become a 1,000 website in the country. We are now at 2,700. We need your help to get up there. But you guys, this is crazy. This is absolutely freaking insane. So now comes to the part, what we talked about just now with Hillary Clinton. Here's what Lindsey Graham pressed James Comey on about Hillary Clinton.
November the 7th, 2016, the U.S. intelligence officials forwarded an investigative referral of FBI Director James Comey and Assistant Director of Counterintelligence Peter Strzok regarding U.S. presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's approval of a plan concerning U.S. presidential candidate Donald Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections as a means of distracting the public from her use of a private email server. You don't remember getting that or being taught? That doesn't ring
bells with me.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty stunning thing. It didn't ring a bell, but it did come to you. Let's just end with this. You get this inquiry from the Intelligence Committee to look at the Clinton campaign, basically trying to create a distraction, accusing Trump of being a Russian agent or a Russian stooge or whatever to distract from her email server problems. And how far-fetched is that, Mr. Comey, when we now know that the Democratic Party, through Fusion GPS, hired Christopher Steele, a foreign agent who had a very strong bias against Trump, who hired a Russian subsource who the FBI believed to be a Russian spy to compile a dossier that was a bunch of crap to be used against an American citizen working for the Trump campaign. You already knew that. Seems to me you'd want to investigate other allegations, but you're telling me that you don't recall this.
I mean, I can't say it much better than Lindsey Graham just said it right there, ladies and gentlemen. The bottom line is that all along we were told that President Trump was the one colluding with Russia. Turns out the Democrats obtained a document from a suspected Russian spy. The FBI was in on it, knew that they were a suspected Russian spy, used that information to go to the FISA warrant, withheld that from the FISA court to obtain the FISA warrant to spy on Carter Page. Guys, if you believe there are 2,900 people on here still, I want to see 2,900 lock him up. If you believe that James Comey is guilty of high crimes and treason, I want to see in big, bold letters, lock him up. If you believe that James Comey deserves to be behind bars as well as Hillary Clinton, but lock him up, lock them up, lock all their asses up, you guys. This is one of the biggest scandals in political American history, and the media isn't talking about it whatsoever. Thank you, Dwayne, Dan, Rich, Lynn, Cook, Robin, Francesca, Loeki, Kristen, Jonathan. You guys all, thank you guys for all that. Several hundreds of comments coming in here every second. You guys, thank you. I don't know what else there is to say about this. All we need to do is time is on our side. If we re-elect President Trump in November, these investigations will continue. But I guarantee you, as surely as the sun comes up every single day, that if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris get elected to presidency, say goodbye to all these investigations. They'll all be over. All of the investigations will be ended on the day that Joe Biden takes office if he wins. We have to re-elect President Trump in 2020. Now, here's another interesting thing. Switching topics. There's a lot more to get into here, but we'll get into this a little bit later, you guys. In order to re-elect President Trump in 2020, we at Trending Politics feel the obligation to bring you the truth. We feel the obligation to bring you the truth about what's happening in the news every single day. The media is extremely biased against President Trump. They lie about him. They slander him. They call us racist, bigots, sexist, homophobes, basket of deplorables. They call us the scum of the earth. CNN smears us as racist, boomer rube demographic. They call us, idiots, dumb, all these terrible names, right? Well, we here at Trending Politics have opposed that point of view from them. They call us the scum of the earth. We call you Americans. And that's what we do every day on trendingpolitics.com. That's why we are thriving. We have the top 2,700 website in the entire country, thanks to you guys. However, the playing field is not level here. As you guys know, the media, if President Trump just says something sleight of hand or off the top of his head, the media takes it like it was some sort of presidential address and it was the most serious comment that he's ever made. Even if he's maybe joking or if he is saying something in jest, they take it as a fact, right? Like when President Trump jokingly said, "Oh, I want to put you guys I want to put you reporters in an airplane and send you guys up into space." They said President Trump threatens to kill reporters by sending them into space. Well, how many of you last night remember when Joe Biden said that President Trump called fallen soldiers losers and suckers? Does anyone remember that? Now, inexplicably, for some reason, President Trump didn't immediately call that BS out. But anyways, he did it later in the debate. So later in the debate, President Trump comes out and says, "Well, Joe Biden, you called troops stupid bastards to their face." Joe Biden said, "That's not true, but we have it on tape." And guess what they're doing now, you guys? Ladies and gentlemen, guess what they're doing now on trendingpolitics.com? We did this story last week, and now they are fact-checking us on Facebook right now. Guess what they're saying? A post shared by trendingpolitics.com is missing context. Their fact check says Joe Biden did call troops stupid bastards, but it was only jokingly. The social media post lacks context. So what they're doing now is they're punishing pages like ours. They're punishing conservative pages like ours, dinging our pages, suppressing our reach. Why? Why is that? Because we didn't add proper context. So Joe Biden can sit there and call troops stupid bastards, but we're supposed to be the mind readers here to say, well, he was only joking. But they don't give a damn when President Trump jokes about something. They don't give a damn when President Trump says something in jest. When he says something in jest, the media just goes right along with it. And they're like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. He said that he was going to sign an executive order so Joe Biden can't become president. Oh my God, it's tyranny. We're living in tyranny. Oh my God, he's a dictator. He's Hitler. But Joe Biden can be on tape calling troops stupid bastards, and they give us a fact check. All we did was quote him directly. This was our headline. Uncovered video from 2016 shows Biden calling U.S. troops stupid bastards. There is nothing fake about that headline. We literally quoted him 100%. But Facebook fact checks us. They fact check us on it, you guys. I feel like I'm going freaking insane. I was working out this morning in the front room, like thinking about this, and I was getting legitimately pissed off about this. So the media, if President Trump says something in jest, it's the end of the world. But if Joe Biden says something in jest, we are the ones who are punished. Our pages are the ones who are punished. We have, monetization stripped from us. We have all these things being stripped from us for quoting Joe Biden word for word. It is a fact that Joe Biden said, "You stupid bastards." But somehow we're supposed to be the mind readers when they don't use these same standards for President Trump. President Trump can say something jokingly and it's the end of the freaking world. It's Armageddon. But Joe Biden is on tape saying stupid bastards and we get smacked for it. Facebook and Twitter and Instagram let that story from anonymous sources of President Trump saying losers and suckers about fallen soldiers, which everyone knows is total BS. You had even people who were there who denied it. You have John Bolton who didn't think that it was reasonable enough to lie about. Yet that story goes on without fact checking. But isn't it interesting how Facebook and their independent fact checkers want to make sure that this story is squashed right away? Just to let you know, everyone, Joe Biden did call them stupid bastards, even though during the debate he said that that wasn't true. Listen, guys, he did call them stupid bastards, but he was just joking. So therefore, we're going to slap you guys with a fact check. We're going to slap you guys with a fact check. That's what we're going to do. We're going to suppress your page. We're going to hit you with a fact check. The reason why I'm getting so worked up about this, you guys, is because Facebook acts like they are unbiased. They act like they are unbiased, but they are absolutely not. They don't do this for President Trump when Trump says something in jest, when Trump says something joking. But now we have Biden on tape calling them stupid bastards, and we get punished for it. So, all I'm going to say, you guys, is if you do not have the Trending Politics app on your phone, make sure you download it right away. Okay? Go to the App Store, download the Trending Politics app, whether you have an Android or an iPhone. Because I would not be surprised if by Election Day, this live stream that I'm doing that reaches over 200,000 people every single day, I wouldn't be surprised if I am not here able to give you this live stream come Election Day. Okay, you guys? And the only way that we're going to be able to reach you potentially down the road is through our Trending Politics app. All right? Our news feed is at the very top. We've got all kinds of stuff for you guys. The biggest, most important thing is the news feed. It'll take you right to our website so you can see all the latest articles, you guys. I don't know what else to do, guys. The media is already laying the groundwork for that. If President Trump doesn't accept the results of the election, even if there is apparent mail-in voting fraud, they are already laying the groundwork, and Facebook has already said that they will potentially shut down posting, especially from political pages, if there is civil unrest. And they are going to shut down pages if they claim victory for President Trump in the election. That's us, you guys. That's us. So we got to be aware of it. We got to be careful. Well, you guys, this was one hell of a day. I thank you guys all for joining me. Make sure you're refreshing trendingpolitics.com every single day, you guys. Make sure you are also going to ilovemyfreedom.com. We have patriotic shirts, hats, yard signs, everything you could want to get ready for Election Day, you guys. We have a team of American citizens fulfilling these products for you, sending them out to you every single day. in Kansas. We have our customer support service up in Minnesota. Big shout out to them for working hard every single day. You guys hire 100% American citizens to fulfill all of this work. And we have coins as well, collector coins made right here in the USA. Make sure you're going to trendingpolitics.com, you guys. I appreciate every single one of you. Tomorrow, I am off. I am off to Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen. This weekend is the Walk Away Unsilent March on Washington. For more information, just look up the Walk Away March. Look it up on Twitter, on Google. It is a huge celebration of all the people who have walked away from the Democrat Party in the last several years. I will be there on the ground. If you are anywhere near that area, if you are in New York, if you are in D.C., Virginia, wherever you are, make sure to come out to the event, you guys. It's going to be a great march. This Saturday is going to be the march in Washington, D.C. I will be there, so I am not going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. I'm going to be traveling to D.C., but I will be back on Friday from Pennsylvania. I will be doing a live stream there, and so I'll have a little bit different of a setting, different background for you guys, but I look forward to talking to you guys then. So for every single one of you who have stayed on, thank you guys so much. I will still be around if you guys are on, if you guys follow Trending Politics on Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, and I will still be writing articles on trendingpolitics.com. So I'm not going anywhere. I'm just not going to be able to do a live stream tomorrow because I will be traveling to Washington, D.C., ladies and gentlemen. So to each and every one of you, thank you for listening to me this entire time. I love you guys. Make sure you're going to trendingpolitics.com, and I will see you guys on Friday from the heart of Washington, D.C. Talk to you guys soon.